What is up, boys and girls? This is your boy Lee Mag Zane with another Car Talks episode. And today I wanted to talk about struggle and how, everybody's got a struggle. And no matter what, life is going to be a struggle. I see a lot of people kind of complaining about their struggles and what they go through, how difficult life is. And, that's fine. Life is very difficult for most people. For some, it's more difficult than for others. But even that is okay. Like, if you feel like you're struggling and you are struggling, you shouldn't be hard on yourself for going through it, for struggling and feeling like life is hard. Because life is hard. Life is as hard as... Everyone's got a different level of struggle that they've gone through. Someone that's been through really, really hard circumstances is going to have a different threshold for what is difficult to them. So what's difficult to them might not be difficult to you if you've gone through something more difficult. Like, for example, your parents always used to, I don't know about your guys' parents, but my parents always used to be like, there are children in Africa that got to walk 13 miles in the heat to get to school, and you're complaining about having a bike to school, blah, 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 stuff like that. And, it's very cliche to have that argument, but it's also very true. There are people going through much worse circumstances than yourself, so complaining is not the best way to go about things. However, you also shouldn't feel like you're the worst person in the world for struggling, for feeling like your circumstances are hard, because if you've never gone through anything harder than what you're going through now, what do you have to compare it to? You can only experience what you've experienced, And so that's the first part of struggle, is that everyone's going through a struggle. Life is hard for everyone for various reasons, and you shouldn't hate on yourself or others, for that matter, for struggling with various things, especially if you don't know what they've gone through. Now, that being said, because we know that life is a struggle for everybody, no matter what, there is a big difference in the types of struggle that people can go through. So to sum it up, basically, you're going to struggle no matter what with life at some point. Maybe you're going to have an easy life all the way through high school, and then maybe even through college if you're really lucky. Maybe. If you're really lucky, you might get all the way through college and not really have to struggle all that much. You might not have had a family member that passed away or got really sick and you had to help them, or maybe you weren't. You just breezed through high school and college and whatnot, whatever your circumstances might be. At some point, you're going to struggle with something. Life is going to get hard. That's just kind of the nature of things. And so what I see a lot of people doing is just kind of succumbing to whatever struggle that life throws at them. And then as a result, they end up being held back by those struggles that they didn't really choose. Life threw those struggles at them. As life does, life is just going to throw struggles at you that you choose or don't choose. And you have the option, preceding the struggle that life throws at you, you have the option to voluntarily take on various challenges that will strengthen you. Because whether you like it or not, what doesn't kill you does indeed make you stronger, for the most part. I mean, of course, if you lose a limb, you probably aren't going to get physically stronger, but you might get mentally stronger. And so or spiritually stronger, for that matter. And so you have to look at all of the different struggles that life throws at you in that way. Otherwise, you end up taking on a victim mentality and, saying, woe is me. And then you really should feel bad about yourself if that's the mentality that you're in. Hopefully you realize if you're in that mentality, that's what you're doing, and you stop it from continuing, because that victim mentality is toxic for yourself. It's toxic for the people around you, and you lose a lot of respect for people if you just keep that mindset your whole life. It's just not healthy. But regardless, the best way to avoid that victim mentality is by understanding that life is a struggle for everybody, and your struggle is your struggle. You know, you got to bear your cross, and the best way to avoid being just taken out at the knees by life when it inevitably throws some tough stuff at you is by taking on challenges voluntarily, so that you are strengthened by your own desire for accomplishment, and by your own choice you choose the struggle that you want to go through, so that when, like I said, life inevitably throws something at you, you aren't taken out at the knees. And maybe because you chose to strengthen yourself voluntarily, you now have that backbone, that mental fortitude, that spiritual fortitude, physical strength, whatever the case may be, if it's the gym for you, to take on those life challenges and, you know, keep moving forward without becoming super depressed and ending up with a victim mentality, woe is me type stuff. And if you can take on that mindset of life is a struggle no matter what, so let me choose the struggle that I take on, that way when life inevitably throws something at me, I'm not surprised, caught off guard, and then laid low by it to have to scramble to recover, or, you know, put in a really bad mental state that might even take you lower than you would have been just by being more prepared mentally for it. You know, because depression comes about, and then maybe you stay in that state of depression for longer than you ought to. You shouldn't stay in a state of depression at all, ever, if you can avoid it. But regardless, life happens, and sometimes you are depressed for longer than is healthy, which, you know, being depressed is never healthy, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so struggle. Choose your struggle, and strengthen yourself, so that when life throws a bunch of crap at you, you're not surprised, caught off guard, and laid lower than you would have otherwise been. That's all. That's today's car talk, and I hope you guys took it and take it and do something good with it. Peace.
What's up, you guys? So obviously the video's not over. I, after filming the video, had a few more thoughts and ideas that I felt would benefit you all if you care to listen. So part of the reason that we want to take on struggle, take on hardship on purpose, is because when you do take on hardship on purpose and you develop yourself as a result, because for the most part, if you purposefully take on hardship, you're going to end up developing yourself, you're going to end up better for it, you're going to strengthen yourself. That's the whole reason we do it in the first place, like I said, so you don't get taken out by life. When you do take on struggle voluntarily, you end up getting yourself to a point where you can look back on the results of your progress, your struggles, everything, and you have something to be proud of. You have something, and not even like something that's worth being proud of, because pride, you know, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, but like, to accomplish something and take pride in that thing you've accomplished is virtuous, actually, because for the most part, it's because you did something good. Obviously, if you do something that's hard that maybe doesn't benefit yourself or the people around you, I don't know why you would do that, but don't, I guess. I don't do hard stuff for no reason that doesn't benefit yourself or anyone else. That's probably not a good idea. Anyways, so regardless, take on struggles that develop you, that benefit you, and, you know, for the most part, things that benefit you do end up benefiting other people. Like, for example, myself, I got in the gym when I was 155 pounds because I was tired of being 6'2" and 155, being super scrawny. And then I also was joining the trades. I was a structural steel welder, and fabricator, and that requires, you know, flipping I-beams and stuff. And yeah, I'm not doing it barehanded. We use tools to help flip it, and, you know, a big lift if we need to. But for the most part, it does help to be a bit stronger to carry around your tools, to carry around the big mag drill that weighs 50 to 100 pounds. There's a bunch of different reasons that it's good to be strong when you work in a trade, is what I'm getting at. And that was part of the reason that I wanted to bulk up. And then on top of that, I knew that I needed to work on my self-discipline. And that's part of why I got in the gym, was to develop my self-discipline. So, all in all, taking on hardship of trying to gain weight, I'm about 185 now, taking on that hardship voluntarily prepared me to do my job better, and it made me more self-disciplined, so that when I go on to approach other things in my life, like this channel, for example, that I want to grow and even benefit others with, that's the whole purpose of this channel, is to spread wisdom, spread good vibes, spread, positivity, especially for young men who need it really bad right now. Part of the reason I got into all of that was to develop the self-discipline so that I would actually stick to it, because there's a lot of things in my life I'm not perfect, as I'm sure you know, because no one's perfect. There's a lot of things in my life that I didn't stick with because I didn't have the self-discipline. And so I got in the gym to develop the self-discipline, as well as to get big and strong and all of that. But the self-discipline was actually, I would say, just as important as getting big, aesthetics and stuff like that. I like how I look now. I'm happy with that. I want to grow a little bit more before I go and do other things. But the whole point of this extra part of this video is at the end of the day, because I put in all of that work for a year and a half now that I've been working out, at the end of the day, if I'm down in the dumps for whatever reason, if I just had a really shitty day, I can look in the mirror and be like, I did that. I did that. I did the work. I put in the work. I was consistent. I was disciplined. I was dedicated. And I did that. I improved myself and I built myself to at least look and feel better than I did before. And that's just, that's if you struggle with depression, if you struggle with anxiety or whatever mental issues, just depression being the biggest one, really, it really helps to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm not a piece of shit. I did something worthwhile and was successful at it. And that just builds your confidence. And then if you can continue to do that, take on hardship voluntarily and continue to accomplish things, you will continue to build your confidence, and you will continue to increase the likelihood that you will be more successful at other things that you try in the future. And so that's pretty much it. I probably rambled a bit longer than I needed to, was a bit redundant, whatever. I'm still, part of the reason I'm doing this is develop my speaking skills. So that's just what it is. Have a lot of different goals and stuff. So yeah, now I'm actually signing off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, offer suggestions of how I could improve, whatever. I'll even, talk some smack. I don't care. I'll read it. I'll laugh. I can take a joke. So, yeah. Anyways, good night, guys.